Hey, I'm Mike Schutz, and I'm the Director of Connect Ministry here at Sojourn. Here today to show you a little bit about how we're going to do follow-up, the new advocacy ministry. In the past, advocacy is referred mostly to helping people find community groups, but now we're going to try to merge a lot of different follow-up initiatives into one big, you could call it super advocate team. And that's going to be you guys. And we hope to have a bunch of people on this team so we can rotate to give you 3-4 weeks in between each time so you can really take the time to invest in a relationship with somebody that you're following up and not just rely on an email or a phone message or something like that. So basically, I think the best way to do this is, at least for now, is going to be on the Google document. And for those who haven't used it, it's essentially an Excel spreadsheet that allows for collaboration. So anytime you open it and you edit it, it's automatically saved, and the next person who opens it will see your changes. So we're going to take all the data that we get from the Connect cards, from the service counseling cards, from the city, from people who just walk in off the street, and we're going to enter it into this Google Doc. From there, I'll assign advocates, and you'll get to open the document when I email it to you, and you'll look for your name and say, okay, I guess I'm following up this guy. And so let's look at that a little closer. You can see what you'll get. First you'll get an email with the link to this saying, hey guys, I've done the contact work, we've entered in all the data, here's some people to follow up. You'll click on the link, it'll take you here. This is the follow-up document. You'll want to scroll down probably to the bottom. You can sort it by the date it's submitted. You can sort it by your name of the advocate, whoever you are, so you can see all the people that you're in charge of following up, whatever's convenient for you. But it's generally sorted chronologically. So we'll scroll down to the bottom. It's just a running list, started back in January. And you'll see this is the most recent batch of contact cards that we've entered. And so for each person, here's the date it was submitted, April 18th. This is how it was submitted. It was a Connect card. This is how we got their data. This is their first name, last name. This is where I'll assign the advocate in charge of following them up. That would be you. This is a little way to tell us what follow-up has happened so far. Have you tried to call them and left a message? Have you talked to them live? Have you actually gotten together and meet up with them? And that's the goal. The goal is the most relational follow-up that you can do with the time that you have. Here's where you can write some notes on how things have gone. Maybe you can say, hey, I've tried this number 4 times and no one's picking up. Or you can say, hey, we got together and this person received Christ and I'm starting to do some initial discipleship with them. This is where you'll get all their contact info. You got an email and a phone number. Pretty much every category that's on the Connect card is duplicated here on the spreadsheet, so you can see all the data that they've put down, including any important notes that they've written about, whether that's a prayer request saying, hey, I really want to talk to somebody about this issue in my life, so that when you go to call them, you have some context to know where they're coming from, what information they've requested, and how to best follow them up. So a little bit on how to handle these different check marks. If you usually someone will check multiple things on a card. If they check, I want to become a Christian, it's going to be highlighted in yellow. Or if they check baptism, that'll also be highlighted yellow. We'll consider that priority 1 follow-up. They're a hot contact. We want to follow them up as soon as possible. And your goal will be to meet with them in person if you can. There's money set aside. You can take them out to coffee. You can take them to a restaurant. And we can reimburse you for that, because the goal is really to establish a relationship that can continue, where you can not only share Christ one time, but continue to establish them in the faith if they do make a decision and want to continue to get involved in church. So that's if they want to become a Christian. For baptism, you'll want to get together with them, and the goal would be that you could assess where they're at with Christ, whether they think baptism is going to save them, or whether they think if they know the gospel and they realize that they want to obey Christ, to be baptized and make that a proclamation. And so if possible, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to equip you to do the baptism interview with them and actually get together and let me know, hey, this person's really a believer and they want to be baptized and they get it enough to be baptized. And so that's how that will work, and there's more information on that in the packet on what to do if they check baptism. The next category is membership. If they want to be a member, that's really easy. You can just send them the link and say, here's the date of the next class, here's the link to sign up. And if you want to pursue more relationship with them and say, hey, let's go out to coffee, I'd love to meet you, that's great. But maybe it's just a seminary student wanting to know how to become a member, and you feel like, you know, they're busy, you're busy, you just want to give them the link, and that's great. The next would be groups. If they want to get in a community group, it's a little trickier. There's a couple different tools to help you out here. In your packet, you'll get a training packet that can explain this better, but you can either use the city, and you could probably, the best way would probably be to log in yourself and just use the map search function. That's all laid out for you in this packet, how to use the map search on the city. The other way, if that's a little slow, there's just a master spreadsheet that you can look at, find their area where they live, and try to give them some contact info for people, community groups in their area. It also would be nice to contact the community group leader and let them know that there's somebody interested in their group, so you don't just put the ball in the person's court who's trying to find a group, but you actually walk them through it as much as you can. So those are really the two ways for community group, and once again, specific instructions and pictures are all here in the packet for you to use the city and help them find it. The next category would be, let's go back to the chart here, service. If they're interested in service, once again, get together with them, talk to them on the phone, assess, hey, does this person, is this kind of an initial, do they just want to get their feet wet, or do they want to jump into seed, or where would they like to serve? And then you can contact me or Nathan Ivy or a leader over that service area to help get them plugged in. And then lastly, if they check counseling, this is a little trickier because basically a lot of times people will check counseling if they're having a crisis situation in life, or just there's some intense stuff going on. And a lot of times what they need is the gospel. They need gospel community. They need a friend. They need someone to pray with them. And you can provide that for them. So we don't want to just sort of push them off onto the Sojourn Counseling Department too quickly. You may be the counselor that they need. But at the same time, if they're in a serious crisis and you feel, man, this is way over my head, there is a kind of a quick way that you can just email Cindy Hines, and her info's in the packet once again, and she can hook them up with some legit Sojourn counseling if that's what they want. So a lot of this is written out in the packet, but if you have any questions with how to use this Google Doc or how to follow up the people that you've been assigned to, please just email me and be more than happy to walk you through it. Thanks.